Right. I'm actually building a kinetic board build. I'm trying to actually maximize damage available on the kinetic board. So I'm adding a lot of flat damage. I'm adding a ton of increased attack damage, and I'm adding a lot of more damage, and I'm also adding a ton of critical strike multiplier damage as well. So this build is actually trying to achieve the max damage for kinetic board, which is it's not easy. You do require items that are kind of like mirror tier or better, right? So I'm using an extremely good endgame one, right? And also I'm using a elegant hubris duo that provides me with around 400% increased spell damage with connect board of fragmentation. You actually get around 1000 increased attack damage from that duo, right? So in addition to that, the duo actually provides me with close to 160 increased projectile attack damage, and it also provides me with 160 increased armor in total. So it's a beast of a duo, and if you can find something like that, it will really help the build. And kinetic board, it's useful right now because of the returning projectiles, and if you attack a monster with sniper's mark, the projectiles actually split and they return back to your character as well. So that helps your character deal a ton of damage. Right, so you can see from the gameplay that it's crazy amount of clear. It's also high in single target damage, which is crazy. I'm just adding gems in this build, so that I'm just adding like just non-awakened gems in some of my auras and other skills just to have a gauge on how good this build is. This build it's not really maximized to the max. I'm just showing that there's possibility that you're able to get it to an even better level. I'm using milestone age. All of these skills in the wall, all of the skill gems in the wands support skill gems like increased critical strikes, faster attacks and things like that. And what is also key is the 1 to 6 lightning damage to attacks, flat lightning damage to attacks, and that scales with Astromandis amulet, which actually gives me all stats. So 1 to 6 lightning damage with attacks per 10 intelligence, which is crazy, right? So um, our intelligence here is 585. It's a good amount of intelligence. It does provide a good amount of flat lightning damage. Not a lot, but still good enough. And we're using elemental added damage supports like awaken cold, uh, awaken added cold damage, and awaken added lightning damage. And this works because we are also using original sin as a ring, and the ring actually converts all of this elemental damage to chaos damage. And yes, we're using original sin. All elemental damage converted to chaos damage. Nearby chaos resistance of enemies is 0, right? So why are we using flat elementals? Because we do have uh, more elemental damage to attacks on our wand itself, and on our shield we are using Squire Shield, which actually provides us with damage on full life. This increases the chaos damage, right? And it's quite good because we do have energy shield. We're also using void manipulation when all elemental damage is converted to chaos, and then we just scale chaos this way, which is the next best mod more damage gem that we added into our sockets, and then returning projectile supports, which actually helps us to get all of our projectiles back, helping us deal a few times the damage that we are dealing right now. What we are using is Sniper's Mark. When you curse enemies with Sniper's Marks, any projectiles which hit them actually splits into many projectiles. So let's say it splits towards 4 additional targets, and it will return back. So it deals around 4 times the damage, and we can actually increase this number of projectiles that it splits into, giving us a lot of damage, and our damage is just multiplied by the amount of projectiles. What I'm using is Brass Dome Gladiator Plate. It's quite a good armor, around 397 increased armor. So max is around 400. 5% to all elemental resistance. Strength provides no effect, but the best is just the resistance. And we're using that with our helm, which actually provides us with flat damage to for each curse on enemy. So we increase the number of curses on our characters to around 8. Then we do have that a huge amount of flat chaos damage, which is crazy, and this helm actually helps us also to get less reservation on our mana cost for our auras. But I have not actually crafted it to have 4 sockets yet. This is just a test build to see how far I can get with this character, right? What another thing that's good is the increased maximum energy shield. You can actually increase it with quality or increase it from nodes on the tree, which will actually make your energy shield higher, right? So with our ring, we actually increase our maximum number of curses via our maximum power charges. So if we increase our power charges, we get more curses. Bane of Condemnation is a extremely good spell. It allows me to actually cast all my curses all at once without any reduced effect on curses. But Bane of Condemnation actually has a smaller AoE. It has a huge reduction in AoE, so it's better for single targets. And you can actually cast all of your curses all at once on the target itself. I think we will want to focus on the Sniper's Mark and maybe 2 more curses on our armor. So Sniper Mark is the main damage dealing curse, right? So it will allow our enemies to split, allow our projectiles to actually split when they hit our enemies. And then I'm using Abhorrent Interrogation Gloves, so I get another Despair Curse from these gloves. And what's important is the chance to inflict Withered, and that's quite important because if we have like 10 projectiles, our chance to get more stacks of Withered is higher, right? And I'm using Original Scene. Original Scene works with Withered. So let's say our enemies have 0% chaos damage. Withered will only increase the amount of chaos damage taken, right? So they will be taking a ton of chaos damage. Alright, +2 to aura gems, curse enemies with despair. Take note, despair does not work with Original Sin. You might want another curse rather than despair, right? So yes, it doesn't work with Original Sin at all. Try not to use despair. I'm only using these gloves as an example because I need another curse to deal flat damage to them. The skills on the gloves, I'm using Purity of Elements. and it makes me immune to elemental ailments, and lighten support and clarity as well. We are using a ton of mana for this build. It's a 10 link, at least a 10 link. It's at least a 10 link kinetic board build. So using clarity actually helps us regenerate our mana. Mage blood also gives us armor. It gives us resist. It depends on our flask. So I usually just get 3 magic utility flasks. There are people that try to get 4 left most as well. So flasks I'm using are basically, you might not be able to see here, it's just an armor flask, it's a resistance flask, right? So for my boots I'm using added stats for my boots. This will actually provide me with a flat lightning damage, as my wand actually provides I think it's 1 to 6 lightning damage per 10 intelligence. So having that flat intelligence, having that flat strength and dexterity is very good, and I don't have to add additional stats into on my skill tree. And more dexterity actually provides me with more accuracy, which is crazy. Right, so this is kinetic board on my tooltip. I don't actually know how much it is when it splits, but I think it's a huge multiplier on the damage. I'm using the squire shield, of course, because I'm adding more damage gems and other gems as well. And this is crazy, right? A lot of chaos damage, and the mana is a lot for kinetic board. Right, spells wise, what I'm using is elegant hubris and spell damage. Right, why spell damage? Because we actually have that multiplier, which is 2.5% of spell damage. Is converted to kinetic boards of fragmentations damage at 2.5 times. So let's say you have 400% spell damage, you times 2.5, that's at least 1,000 increase attack damage, which is crazy. So Lion's Eye Focus also provides me with 80% increase projectile attack damage. Right, you want a build that allows you to get all of these nodes at a very low investment. If you require a lot of investment to get to like 80 increased spell damage, then it's really not worth it, right? Okay, and moving on, I'm getting a Watcher's Eye, which actually provides me with -9 to total mana. This is very important because of my 10 link kinetic board. You will want mana recovery when affected by clarity as well, and 21 life per enemy hit while affected by vitality. You don't need a huge amount of you don't need to level up your vitality. You can just leave it at level 1 or 2, and your Watcher's Eye will still work. Right, so replica conqueror's efficiency for the next unique jewel. So for this jewel I actually have -9 to all total mana cost, which actually helps with my mana. My 10 link is actually 55 mana right now, so it's crazy. You know, you really want to have mana leech or mana recovery or mana regeneration, or mix of both, which will help with this build. Right, next I have Grand Spectrum, which is one of the better crit jewels. It actually provides a huge amount of crit to the build. Right, I have 3 of them, which provides up to 75%. So you times that by 3, that's around 200% increased critical strike chance. I also have Ghost Reaper. Ghost Reaper allows me to leech energy shield, so I actually gain a lot of life on hit, and I have a lot of energy shield leech, which actually helps me to regenerate both life and energy shield. This build also needs accuracy rating, right? Frenzy charges, we don't actually need frenzy charges. I'm just gonna remove both of this, the nodes that I already selected. So no frenzy charges for this build, only power charges, as it will provide a huge amount of flat damage, and it allows me to deal more. It increases my chance to deal critical damage. What you want is also leech mastery, so 2% life leech, 2% mana leech, right? So you also want skills like increase amount of projectiles, increase attack speed as well. Mana reservation for auras, you don't need this because you will be using a lot of auras or skills that will reserve your mana. Life and energy shield mastery, uh, increase energy shield and life is very important. Right, one mastery, increase amount of leech, increase my chance of gaining a power charge on crit, increase my attributes, which is intelligence, and it will increase my flat damage. One attacks, fire another projectile, increase the amount of projectiles that will split and return back to me. Of course, certain things like increased projectile speed does benefit tornado shot, but I guess I do not want to add that in. Something like taste of blood is also useful, but no, I didn't actually add that in. Right, you might want leech mastery as well. Yeah, and that's about it for the build. So let's look at Bane of Condemnation. Right.
My mana is gone. My mana is gone.
And you see the mana goes down very fast. Precision, discipline, and other auras. Right. So now I'm attacking all of these monsters, and look how fast it kills, how fast it spreads. I'm using increased effect on marks, which will increase the number of marks on the sniper mark. 5 skills fire 2 additional projectiles, which is crazy. Right. Far shot is good, but we are using original sin, which requires us to be near our monsters. So far shot is not extremely good for this build. Right, and we'll want increase effect on marks. Probably the next two skills I get is probably Gathering Winds. We are not physical build, so we do not need bleeding. We are mostly a chaos build, so we focus on chaos damage. Yeah, with the increased effect on marks, it actually helps the snipers' marks. And the number of projectiles that split will increase as well. And also cursed enemies take increased damage, which is crazy. That's another multiplier as well.
Hello. Hello.
And it's important to actually increase the quality of our gems. If you have Awaken Enhance, it's even better. It will increase the amount of damage my cursed enemies take from projectile hits. So Awaken, Enhance, or better Enhance will actually increase the amount of percentage that they will increase the amount of percentage they take. So that's about it for the build. Thank you so much.